So we have seen what is arcuate fibers. Now we will see the projection fibers. So what are projection fibers? They connect the cortex with the lower centers. They simply connect the cortex with the lower center. And which are these lower centers? These lower centers are pons, medulla, thalamus, okay, basal ganglia. All these are the lower centers with which the cortex is connected with the help of the projection fibers. Okay, then association and commissural fibers come primarily from neurons in the layer 1 to 3. Now we have seen the layers. So association and commissural fibers mainly come from 1 to 3 layers, and projection fibers mainly come from 5 to 6. As I told you, corticospinal tract arise from layer 5 and 6. So remember these things. Projection fibers must be very strong and they must be very long. The lower centers means here there is spinal cord also. Okay, it is also lower center. Remember this. So these are very long fibers, and they arise from layer 5 and 6. Okay. So now we have seen what are association fibers, what are commissural fibers, and what are projection fibers, and what are arcuate fibers. Even they will come next. The corticospinal tract is composed of projection fibers arise from the neurons in the deeper layers of the precentral gyrus. As I told you previously also, precentral gyrus, it contains two areas, which is premotor areas and association motor cortex area. Okay, and it is concerned with motor. And what is postcentral? Postcentral gyrus is the primary sensory cortex, and there is sensory association area near the postcentral gyrus. So not to confuse, precentral gyrus concerned with the premotor cortex, of course motor activity. So from that the corticospinal tract almost arise because they are also motor, and they are composed of projection fiber, as I told you, as they are arising from layer 5 and 6. So corticospinal association fibers may be short or long. Okay, we have seen about corticospinal projection fibers. Now corticospinal tract also has association fibers. They may be short and they may be long. Okay, so if they are short enough, they will go from one gyrus to the next gyrus, and they will lie in the most superficial layer of cortical white matter, and that is arcuate fiber, as I told you, from one gyri to other gyri passing the sulci. The major long association bundles. Now they have given what are the major long association bundles in the brain connecting one area to other. They are superior and inferior longitudinal fasciculus, superior and inferior occipitofrontal fasciculus, uncinate fasciculus, and the cingulum. Okay, these all are the association bundles. Now you will understand what are these association bundle. So they will connect frontal lobe with parietal, or as you can see in this name, occipitofrontal, mean they are connecting occipital lobe with the frontal lobe. Okay, so we will see them one by one. First we will see the definition of fascicula. What is a fascicula? Fasciculus is a small bundle of nerve, muscle, or tendon sheath. Here the term is applied for bundle of nerve, where here. Okay, so it is basically nothing but a small bundle of nerve that are called as fascicula. Okay, so the superior longitudinal fasciculus runs, as it is mentioned, it runs longitudinally between occipital and frontal lobe. So you have to remember this, it runs between occipital and frontal lobe. Arcuate fasciculus provide communication between frontal lobe and parietal, temporal, and occipital. Now you know what is meaning of arcuate. They are very small fibers. They connect one gyri, other gyri, and third gyri. So they must be very small. So they will connect multiple parts of the brain. Okay, because they are small, वो terminate जल्दी हो जाते हैं. तो अगर termination जल्दी होगा तो उसकी वजह से उनका जो distribution है वो भी wide होगा. Okay, also we have seen superior longitudinal fasciculus connecting the occipital frontal, arcuate fasciculus. Now the fibers of arcuate fasciculus provide a communication between Wernicke's area and Broca's area, as I told you previously. Then there is inferior longitudinal fasciculus, which is occipitotemporal fasciculus. Okay, it connects the occipital and temporal lobes. So superior longitudinal fasciculus will connect the occipital and frontal, and inferior longitudinal will connect the occipital and temporal. So here is how I will show you. Okay, this is of course the anterior side, and this is the posterior side of the brain. Then this is the superior longitudinal fasciculus. These smalls are arcuate fasciculi. Then we will see the hippocampal commissure later on. This is corpus callosum, the largest commissure in the body. This is the largest commissure in the body. It has 4 parts. Okay, it has genu, body, rostrum, and splenium. Okay, then we have the cingulum. Okay, as now you can demarcate the position of a cingulum. Okay, it is related to cingulate gyrus. You know that above the corpus callosum there is a cingulate gyrus, and so the fibers which are under the cingulate gyrus, they are association fibers called as cingulum. Okay, then there is inferior longitudinal fasciculus. There you can clearly see this is occipital lobe and this is temporal lobe. They are connecting both. This is occipital lobe and it is frontal lobe. So just by remembering diagram you can remember these fibers. Superior longitudinal fasciculus is connecting occipital with frontal and inferior is connecting occipital with temporal. Okay, cingulum is around the corpus callosum. So we will go next. The next fasciculus is superior occipitofrontal fasciculus, compact bundle. It lies deep in the hemisphere, connects the posterior portion of the hemisphere with frontal lobe. Okay, so posterior part of hemisphere is of course occipital lobe. It will connect with frontal. It is in the name only. Inferior occipitofrontal, it lies near the temporal. It also नाम में ही सब कुछ है उसके. The uncinate fasciculus arches through the stem of the sylvian fissure to connect to the inferior temporal lobe to the orbital surface of the frontal lobe. Okay, now we have seen what is the sylvian fissure. Okay, so this is our helmet like brain I always draw. So this area, okay, this is your sylvian fissure. Okay, sylvian fissure. This is of course temporal lobe, this is frontal lobe, parietal and occipital. Okay, so at the stem here, at the stem of the sylvian fissure, they connect the inferior temporal lobe, means here, to the orbital surface of the frontal lobe, means it is very small fasciculus. It will connect the inferior temporal lobe with the orbital surface. Now we know the orbital surface of the frontal lobe lies medial to the inferior frontal gyrus. Okay, remember the relations always. They will tell you about the functions of the brain. So this fasciculus is the uncinate fasciculus here. Uncinate. It goes from lower temporal lobe, lower part of temporal lobe to the orbital surface of the frontal lobe. Now the cingulum. Cingulum is white matter tract, lies deep in the cortex of the cingulate gyrus, as I told you earlier. It is a part of limbic system of course and interconnects the cingulate gyrus, parahippocampal gyrus and septal area. Okay, so remember these things: the amygdala, the hippocampus, okay, the fornix. All these are the hypothalamus. All these are the part of limbic system and they are concerned with emotion of the person. Okay, so now we know what is uncinate fasciculus, what is cingulum and what are these association fibers. Now the lesions involving the long association bundles are responsible for cortical disconnection syndromes. Okay, in which there is a clinical deficit occur in the form of weakness, aphasia, dysarthria. Okay, and because of inability of one of the portion of hemisphere to communicate normally with the another portion. So basically there is disconnection, means loss of connection between the two cortical areas of the brain. So coming to the commissural fibers, as I told you, the commissural fibers connect one area of the hemisphere with the corresponding mirror image area of the other hemisphere, and the primary brain commissures are corpus callosum. Everybody knows this, but we should know other commissures in the brain also. So this is major commissure, then there is anterior commissure and hippocampal commissure. Okay, three commissure are there, nothing more to remember, nothing more to confuse. Primary brain commissures are corpus callosum, anterior commissure and hippocampal commissure. The corpus callosum is largest of the commissural system, connects the neocortical areas of the two cerebral hemisphere, as I have drawn previously also. I will show you in the figure. So this is corpus callosum. Now this is medial part, medial surface of the brain. Okay, there imagine that there is a other part of the cerebrum also, which is, if we join them, this structure will become a symmetric bilateral structure. So this is just to show you the part of the corpus callosum. So see, this is the rostrum, then the genu, then this is trunk, or you can say body, and the last part is splenium. So this is the corpus callosum, connecting the largest commissure in the body, connecting the fibers of the one hemisphere from other. Just above it there is cingulate gyrus, we know. and what we have seen in the frontal lobe, up to the cingulate sulcus there was medial limit of the frontal lobe. Okay, remember these relations are very necessary. And now as we will see, you should know the structure of hippocampus, fornix also. So here it is the hippocampus, then from hippocampus fornix arises, as in the previous video we have seen the photo. Then from hippocampus fornix will arise, which has three parts: crus, body and column. Okay, this is crus, then here it is body, and here there are two columns of fornix which will finish up into mammillary bodies, which are the part of the hypothalamus. Okay, so coming back to corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is composed of, we know, genu, body, rostrum, fibers connecting anterior portion of the frontal lobes including speech areas course through the anterior third. So now they have given the fibers, what are the course. So anterior 1/3 means this much area. Now we know this much area, it comes under some area under frontal lobe and some area under the temporal, but mostly area comes under frontal lobe. So the anterior third of the fiber, Broca's area, is situated in the frontal lobe. So anterior third will contain the fibers for speech areas. Okay, then the body carries fibers from posterior portion of the frontal lobe. Okay, this is body. I told you the frontal lobe is up to the central sulcus, up to here it is there. So body will carry again the fibers of posterior frontal lobe. Then the splenium contains fibers from temporal and occipital lobes. This is the splenium part, and this splenium part, as you can see, it is attached to occipital lobe and it is attached to temporal lobe. So splenium will contain the fibers from temporal and occipital lobes. Callosum does not contain crossing fiber from striate cortex or hand area. Okay, these areas communicate by transcallosal connections. So we should remember that कोई crossing of fibers is not there in the corpus callosum. It is just connecting the one neurons of the one hemisphere with the other neurons in the other hemisphere. Okay, so now we know which fibers pass through which part of the corpus callosum. Again I am repeating, in the frontal anterior part, which is the genu and anterior third, and the anterior third there will be speech areas, Broca's areas, so there will be fibers from the speech areas. In the body there is posterior frontal lobe fibers will be go from there, and in splenium the occipital and temporal fibers will go from splenium. So these are the representation that we have seen. Now cingulum, now you know what is cingulum, here it is shown. Now there is corpus callosum, you see this is one hemisphere, this is other, they are connecting each other, so this is corpus callosum. Okay, then we have shown the anterior commissure, we will see now shortly. The anterior commissure, it is also connecting one part of the brain with the other part, and these are the other fasciculi you have seen. Okay, now just in short, if you repeat, cingulum we know it is related to cingulate gyrus, so frontal lobe से ही आएगा और frontal lobe के नीचे के part से आएगा. Okay, then superior occipitofrontal, superior longitudinal, arcuate fasciculus we know ये तो बहुत सारे रहते हैं, and they connect almost all the lobes of the brain with each other. Uncinate fasciculus we know it is from temporal lobe to frontal lobe, orbital surface तक जाता है, वो uncinate है. Then inferior occipital fasciculus, inferior longitudinal. Now we know each and every fasciculus. Okay, so applied aspect. On applied aspect, if there is agenesis of the corpus callosum, then there is a common developmental defect. Okay, but most often patient will not present to you, there will be no symptoms, but if they are present, they will be very severe and there will be mental retardation, seizure or motor deficit. Just a syndrome De Jong has mentioned, that is the Marchia-Fava-Bignami disease, and it is a rare condition related to chronic alcoholism and undernutrition. It is characterized by necrosis and degeneration of middle 2/3 of corpus callosum. So it is one of the pathology of corpus callosum to remember. Okay, so 2/3 of the corpus callosum will become degenerated और उसकी वजह से patient को seizure, mental retardation, motor deficit होंगे. So tumors, particularly gliomas, may involve corpus callosum. Okay, particularly butterfly glioma. Then anterior cerebral artery thrombosis may cause softening of a large part of corpus callosum. Okay, so artery related to corpus callosum is anterior cerebral artery because anterocerebral artery thrombosis, you know, most of the part of the corpus callosum is in the frontal lobe, and to which artery supplies the frontal lobe is anterocerebral artery. So almost corpus callosum will be related to the ACA, that is anterocerebral artery. It does not mean that it is not related to MCA. Okay, there are also branches, pericallosal artery and Rolandic arteries from MCA, which may also give supply to the corpus callosum. But here in the applied, they have said anterior cerebral artery thrombosis, they cause softening, mental symptoms are very prominent, and they are loss of memory, difficulty in concentration, personality changes. Then the commissurotomy is the division of corpus callosum. Now it is rarely used to treat the intractable epilepsy. If the epilepsy is not responding to drugs, then there was a procedure we used to do, that is commissurotomy. It disrupts the major cortico-cortical connection between the two hemispheres. Of course, it will disrupt the connection from one hemisphere to other hemisphere, and due to that the neuronal network threshold may come down, and that's why they were doing commissurotomy. So next is we have now finished the corpus callosum part. Now we will start with the anterior commissure. The anterior commissure connects the olfactory bulbs, amygdala and basal forebrain regions of the two sides. It lies in the lamina terminalis, forming the part of anterior wall of the third ventricle, above the optic chiasma, okay, and below the rostrum of corpus callosum. So see how closely they are related. To the corpus callosum, rostrum part of the corpus callosum, okay, they are present below it, and mainly they connect. Olfactory means this is which nerve? First nerve. Smell. Now false smell is olfactory. So they will connect the olfactory, amygdala regions of the two side. Okay, then the hippocampal commissure, they runs between the two crura of the fornix. I will show you it in figure. Okay, previously which figure we have seen, these two hippocampi we have seen, then this fornix comes out from that. Again I will draw this. These were two mammillary bodies. Here is the one, and there were two cruras of the fornix. Okay, and this was the commissure. Okay, so remember this is mammillary body. This big structure you are appearing is fornix. Now I shown you the previously the part of fornix already. Then this is hippocampus. Okay, so these two columns of fornix are connected by this hippocampal commissure. So it is not much big. Okay, it is very small commissure, but okay, there is a commissure, so we have mentioned it. So we have finished with the commissure. So here it is diagram. Actually I didn't remember, I have uploaded it already. So this was I am trying to draw. This is commissure of fornix, this is crura, and the mammillary body is hippocampus. I have already drawn this. Now the projection fibers, water projection fibers, they descend to more caudal structures, including the basal ganglia, thalamus, reticular formation, nucleus and spinal cord. As I told you, projection fibers, they arise from layer 5th and 6th of the cortex, and that's why they constitute the part of corticospinal tract also. They arise from cortex and they jump to the long distances. Okay, then afferent projection fibers arise from the deeper structures such as thalamus, striatum, project to the cortex. So now we talked about corticospinal, that it is the motor tract from cortex to it is going to the structure spinal cord and basal ganglia. But sensory fiber, they arise from spinal cord and they also go to the center such as cortex or striatum. So these fibers are also projection fiber, not necessarily motor fibers. Sensory fibers are also projection fibers. So now we have seen the arrangement of the fibers in the CNS. We have seen the association fibers, we have seen the projection fibers, we have seen the commissural fibers, and we have also seen the arrangement of the cortical layers of the brain. Okay, and most important layer to remember in that is layer number 5, which is a internal pyramidal layer, sorry. Okay, so that is to be remembered. Thank you.